Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makatadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, teachers of truth, and salutations to sincere Akim and Aqua that may listen. May the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Raquai. I'm back in here with another quick lesson. And for today's lesson, I'm going to be going through a Caribbean perspective on democracy. And quickly, what inspired this lesson was actually, a conversation I had with a local, and they were kind of in that spirit of lamenting of the stuff that's going on, in the Caribbean islands, and noticing that essentially following after this system, realizing that it's not working, right? Because it has created a lot of animosity, amongst the people and screwing over the people and this, that, and the third, right? Which actually, I didn't have this precept on my, I didn't have this precept on deck, but I'll just add it in. I'll just bring it out really, really quickly because this is one of the things that I noticed as he was lamenting, because just a quick backstory. We were talking, and they were, there are particularly two major party systems, kind of like how democracy normally works. Um, in Canada, for example, there is like liberals and conservatives, and then in America there are Republicans and Democrats, right? So it's the same sort of system that has actually continued in the Caribbean. And one of the things that we were discussing is that people who support a particularly different system end up being screwed over by the party that is in power, right? So say if you support party A, and party B is the one that's actually in power, it actually screws over the people who support party A, right? And one of the things I've noticed here is that a lot of people are actually working contract to contract work, right? So, and people who support, for example, party A, they end up getting sent home, right, by the majority and the prime minister who's actually in power. And so it creates that animosity amongst our people, right? Because this custom is actually not working for you, right? This is where what inspired this lesson essentially, right? So enough speaking, let's get to the scriptures. And this is Deuteronomy 28 verse 54, and it reads, "So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children that ye shall leave." And one of the reasons I wanted to bring this out, because that evil eye is even it exists amongst that particular facet of the society as well, right? Because they don't actually implement and have a healthy dose of fear of the Lord, and what happens is it creates that animosity, whether you believe in something or whether you believe in something contrary to another Israelite. It doesn't. It creates that evil eye and that disdain towards your own brethren, right? So that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring this out, particularly. But for those who don't know, this is what democracy is in the etymology. And it says democracy. It says government by the people, system of government in which the sovereign power is vested in the people, as the whole exercising power directly by the elected officials, right? So kresi is where you get the Greek word is kratos, meaning rule or strength, and the demos, the demo part, it goes back to demos, meaning that's the Greek, and that means common people, originally a district, right? So when you put it together, essentially it means ruled by the people, right? And when you read Daniel chapter 7, and verse 7, it actually goes into that fourth beast, which was Rome. And this was a custom of Rome that has even continued today, right? Because we're living in a spiritual Rome, and that philosophy, that custom has spread throughout the different facets, down to different tribes. And this is why your tribes, you different Israelites in your respective tribes, you're kind of likened onto degenerates because you're still following these customs. Let's get, actually, I want to get two precepts in regards to one in regards to democracy, then I'll get one in regards to, being, our people being complete degenerates. So, just bear with me on this. Okay, this is First Maccabees chapter 8, verse 15, and it reads, "Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end they might be well ordered." Verse 16, "And that they committed a government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country, and all that and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them." Right. So this is the kind of system of how democracy essentially works. The so-called people would appoint a quote unquote leader. In the Roman times, it was like a Caesar essentially. You had 12 dominant Caesars, like the scriptures talk about in 2nd Ezra 11, and this person would rule for a particular amount of time, and then another person would take their place, right? And this is the exact revised Roman system that is prevalent and is existent in your different tribes today. Right? Because this is why you tribes don't get anywhere, because you're still following this custom, whether the custom came from, it existed 600 years ago or 1500 years ago or 1,000 years ago. If it's not a custom that was given to you by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai through the laws, the statutes, and commandments, it's not going to work for you. And that's really the point and the objective of this lesson, is to understand that it's still a custom that's over 2,000 years old, and it's still being practiced today. But unique Israelites need to understand that it's still something it's because it's not approved by the Lord, because we don't have a democracy in our customs, and because of that, it's not something that's going to work for you, right? Let's go to Jeremiah. Okay, this is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21, and it reads, "Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into a strange... Oh, Salakia. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?" And the reason what makes us noble and makes us a noble vine is that the Israelites received the laws, statutes, and commandments, and that's what makes us noble. That is what makes us holy. That is what makes us separate. And these are very, very important, because it actually teaches you not only to how to be cordial amongst your brother. It teaches you the things of how to eat, how not to eat, how to you deal with your family, how to deal with the earth, how to deal with herbs, how to how to deal with the people, your brethren as a whole. And that is one of the things that King Solomon prayed for, that wisdom to be able to instruct his people during, I think it's in First Kings, right? And that wisdom he prayed for, and that is what we really and truly need. We need to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments. We need to come back to the Lord, right? To actually A, receive understanding, and B, receive mercy, right? In times of trouble and in times to come of trouble, MOTB, Jacob's trouble, so on and so forth, right? These systems, these customs that you partake in, and like for the sake of the lesson, I'm speaking strictly about democracy, but you can take democracy out and pop in, whether it be socialism, whether it be feminism, whether it be strong, independent, so-called black women, any sort of philosophy that Babylon pushes out, if it's not approved by the Lord, it's not going to work for you, right? So let's go over to Isaiah. It's Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1, and it reads, "Woe unto the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have asked of my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and trust in the shadow of Egypt," right? And that's, if spiritually, this is what's happening today. It's trust. The pharaohs represent, whether it be Esau that's ruling in, these Western nations, U.S., Canada, so on and so forth, or these European nations, or you even have your own pharaohs that are ruling over the people in the islands, specifically, because you go and trust in them, and then they're likened unto heathens as well, because they don't actually operate and have a healthy dose of fear of the Lord. They don't actually are practicing those principles that the Lord has instructed us to govern ourselves and our people. So let's get okay, this is Psalms 133, verse 1, and it reads, a song of degrees of David. "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." And this is something that we hope for. But on this side, that unity only is going to exist with the elect, because they're actually going to actually repent, come back from their from their ways, and actually come together, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, because that spirit is going to be dwelling in them, and that's going to make them a lively stones building up a spiritual house, right? And our people, for example, you might come together in regards to your so-called political beliefs, but if it's not rooted in the fear of the Lord, right? If it's not rooted in that, because that's the first step to receiving wisdom. It's going to be likened unto a house that's built upon sand, right? And this is why you Israelites in your respective tribes that practice and live in these different philosophies, and have adopted these different philosophies, can't find any peace amongst yourselves, because you're trying to apply this custom, and this custom has come out from a particular beast. There's a reason why those empires in Daniel the 7th chapter are referred to as beasts, because under them we became likened unto beasts, right? We did not become more holy. We did not become more righteous under these empires, under these captivities. We became likened unto beasts, right? So anyways, that kind of concludes the end of the lesson. I didn't want to make it too long, right? It's just something that I had a conversation with a local, and it was very, very interesting. What you shared, and the situation, what's going on in your respective tribes, right? So anyways, I'll conclude it here, but hopefully this video, as always, was edifying, And I'd like to pour out praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Makakadash, double honors, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, for teaching us his truth, and salutations to the sincere Akim and Aqua that may listen, right? Forgive me, Salaki, in advance for any noise that you might hear in the background. It's raining really quite heavy. But anyways, next time I say Shalom.